Okay, I think we can get it started. It's 00 sharp. Hello, everyone. I hope everybody's good and welcome to the Linea community call for this September. We're super exciting. It's not just September, where we are back from a lot of like different developer activation around the ecosystem. And yeah, we have this 1 hour. Hopefully, we'll get through a little bit like shorter, but we have a lot of things to cover, and we're super excited to have a lot of people hearing us and hearing a lot of updates. So let's get started. I'm Francesco, part of the developer relation team at Consensus, and super excited to run this committee call with a lot of great speaker and panelists. And yeah, so as we mentioned. Here you can see like a little bit our agenda for today. We'll do a quickly intro and recap of what happens around the last event at Token 2049, ETH Global, Singapore, and the previous hackathons. Then we're actually like super good news, like we are having our first year anniversary of Verax. If you guys didn't see it, we will have Arthur presenting us what's going on in the Verax world and what's happening with all the open source strategy around attestation. And we're super excited to have you, Arthur, here. And then we are having our third speaker, Ravi, from Privado ID, that he was actually speaking a little bit about how we are integrating Verax and Linea proof of humanity. And yeah, if you guys still didn't check it out, you should definitely like see it, what Privado ID is. But I don't want to kind of like share more news around that. I'm looking forward to what Ravi has to share. And then, as always, we will have some of the previous hackathon winners around the Linea bounties. This time with invited Armin. Thanks so much, Armin, also like for joining from the team Shadow Key, and he will actually show his dApp deployed on Linea, and then we will conclude with some Q&A. So just quickly housekeeping, if you guys have any question, feel free to ask in the chat, especially like regarding the specific topic and section that we're discussing. And yeah, so we are trying to always stream in different channels. But if you guys also have any other wishes of topics, of channels, of just general feedbacks, feel free always to respond in the chat. So I would say let's get it started. Let's start also like why we want to do these calls, right? It's very important that those calls are just not randomly at the end of the month, but really like we want to highlight what's happening in the Linea world. But most important, we want to shout out all the great Linea community members that are making this this community strong, not just from the user perspective, but also like from the developers perspective. That's why like we're bringing all the top hackathon winners around the Linea bounties to cover what they built, and they can share what they built during that past 48 hours of hackathon. Also like great teams, great ecosystem partners, and the goal is really like to share what's happening around the ecosystem, but also like sharing specific like technology on why they're making Web3 better. And obviously like we want to share also like what's coming next in terms of like feature, in terms of feedbacks that we're trying to get and grasp from the community. So in case you want to also share new things, you want to also like show what you're building around the ecosystem, feel free always to reach out, DM us. We're always trying to be on the ground and really like hearing what the community has to say. So speaking about what the community has to say, let's do a quickly recap what happened in the last quarter. We've been running different like hackathon, different builder nights. Probably the last three main cities were around in Tokyo, where we run also Builder Night Tokyo. Korea Blockchain Week with Builder Night Seoul was also like a big one, where we had also like different Linea bounties. And then the last one, the big one, was Token 2049, when we had both participated with the Linea bounties at ETH Global Singapore, and we run Builder Night Singapore. I will show a little bit some picture later, but we have Vitalik speaking about 437 and specific like layer 2 and infra topic and what's coming next in the next 6 to 12 months. So quickly, Token 2049 recap for everybody that were not there. We ran a lot of different things. We were on the ground. We co-hosted different sessions with different ecosystem partners. We were obviously like conference, but also we run different activation, like we run the main booth at the Shifai Summit with Maggie and the team around Linea was super interesting. We had all the deal games announcements around the main booth at Token 2049, and also like specific activation like Builder Night with Vitalik, and that was actually super interesting. And here's some impression. We don't want to bore you with a lot of things, but we will get someone also like to speak about the Linea Guild Games update. We launched this campaign. You can actually like play different games right now, and we'll share some links also later. But a lot of things were happening around the main booth. So a lot of like ecosystem partner came and showed up a lot of like different things. But definitely super exciting what happens during Token 2049. That was one main activation. We had obviously like the booth where we run. I think was one of the coolest, and this is a big shout out also to the events and the design team that brought this up. But if you were able to come and say hi, there was a lot of different cool designs around the booth, a lot of different swag around Linea, and yeah, no, just super excited also like to see a lot of like community members coming and saying hi. This was part of the Linea and the Shifai event. Was super exciting. A lot of like people came through. Like we were running the Linea Guild Games during at the booth. A lot of like interesting swag. Here on the right, we see someone from. Oh, look at a lot of like people. Also like our own Susie. She delivered a great speech around Linea scalability. It was actually like super interesting. And then also like for the people that were able to join, we ran a Linea party. Was quite cool because it was at the main rooftop C'est La Vie in Singapore, so you actually be able to see all the view. But also in the same time, we're having different like smaller activation. You can see here like the at the lower left, like how virtually the games were kind of like popping up, and also like with different activation partners. We run the pancake swap. Someone from pancake swap came with the face. Was actually super interesting. And then the last main one activation was around it global Singapore. We had 5K in Linea bounties, so basically like different target bounties from like build, adapt, and deploy to Linea to leverage Linea and Verax around an attestation use case, and was a quite tight 48 hours. Not a lot of sleep, but was definitely worth it. There were 1,000+ developers and a lot of like around, I think like 300 or 250 like submissions. Was quite impressive. And make sure also like that you're joining it global Bangkok if you're around, and obviously the Linea Dev Cook-Off that we are speaking a little bit later around that. Cool. So I think we can just get started, and I will invite also on stage Ray. Let's see, Arthur, are you around? Yes. I was going Arthur to the call.
Yeah, thanks. How are you doing?
Oh, good. I think it's the second time that you're coming on the call, showing us like what's all about Verax. I'm super excited because like I think this week you were publishing like a tweet about what's happening with Verax 1 year anniversary and going fully open source, and we definitely want to know more. But before we start, like you want to quickly introduce yourself and let me know if you want me to share your screen, or should I share the screen, or do there?
Yeah, I can share my screen if you want. That would be more fluid.
Sure, sounds good.
Cool. Okay, perfect.
Love your virtual background, by the way. The big blue Linea bubble.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, let me untoggle Arthur here. There you are.
Cool. Okay, perfect. So hey everybody. So my name is Arthur. I'm a product manager at Linea and also a contributor to Verax. I've been in the Linea team for almost 2 years now, and so but like the main topic of discussion today is Verax, because the protocol has celebrated its first anniversary last week, and so we wanted to take this opportunity to reflect on the past journey and also tell you a bit more about the road ahead. So in terms of agenda, it will be quite simple. I will start with an introduction to for those who don't know Verax, to explain what it is, and then we will get through how it started, how it's going, and like what's next for the protocol. So Verax, quite simply, is a protocol that lets you publish, read, or discover attestation on chain. Let's unpack what it means. So attestations store information of public interest on chain. So you can think of it like badges, credentials, stamps. Those are all specific form of attestation. And to give you more concrete use case, it can be used by identity, which is by far like the main use case at the moment. So you can have attestation of KYC, the famous proof of humanity. You can have like things like proof of citizenship. Let's say if you want to showcase that you are a US voter and wants to support crypto, for instance. So this, I would say, is the level 1, but it go much more deeper, because on the identity you can then build like reputation. What is reputation? It can be a lot of things. It can depend on your activity, whether it's like your on-chain usage. And on the right of the screen, you can see this is one of my attestation, where I have a Reputex score, which is a nice protocol that lets you get a compute a score based on your activity across all the chain. For instance, that then like protocol can use to either reward user or like define some specific rule. It can be also like activity related to your DAO voting for a protocol that want to incentivize more voter, for instance. Like the reputation can also apply to dApps, right? Or even smart contracts. So on Verax, our partner Okapi created dApp reviews. So think of it like Google comments, right? So, but it's on chain. So once there is a review, it's immutable. You can change it, and it's there like forever. You can't get deplatform as a dApp, right? And it can be also Web2 credentials. So maybe not for now, but later on, bring attestation of diplomas. We are already seeing like people that want to attest of their number of followers or things like that. And the last thing that I will mention that is emerging as well is like security, and attestation can be a big use for it. So for instance, you can attest to an audit to make sure that a smart contract has been reviewed and should not have bugs, although it's never 100%. It can be things like smart contract labels, where you put a name or of the protocol and the contract to an address, so you know which contract you are interacting to. It can be verification stamps, things like that. But those are just examples, because like the takeaway is really that every protocols that need to verify information on chain can use attestation. A question that we are getting quite a lot is, what's the difference between attestation and NFTs? Because like for credential, NFTs were, before attestation existed, it was like the main thing that were used for it. Like think of things like POPs, those are NFTs. But we believe that NFTs are not the right tool for this. Like the reason is that they were meant to track like ownership of an asset, whereas attestation are really tailored to store information. So this means that baked into Verax, you have the ability to verify the claims that are being made through things that we are calling portals, and they're basically a smart contract that hold the verification logic. So for instance, like verify that the zero knowledge proof that is provided is valid. Attestation are also like stored in the single contract, as opposed to NFTs that have contracts everywhere on chain. There is thousands of NFT contracts. So that means it's much easier to integrate, to read attestation from this, to index all the data to find information. And since everything is in the same place, you can also compose attestation together, which then can like create much more powerful reputation systems. So things like snap permissionless distribution, where in a totally permissionless way, you can attribute like trust score to like either snaps in the case of MetaMask, but it can be also used for smart contracts and things like that. So yeah, attestation are soulbound NFT on steroid. But that's for the intro, which was already quite long. Let me take you back to June 2023, where like basically the whole idea of Verax started, and it was like a small group of Web3 company that gather around this vision of enabling users to really unlock the value of their reputation, but also like giving builder the tool to shape the future of on-chain identity. Because like rather than reinventing the wheel each time you needed to attest something on chain. And this led to this project that is really open source and driven by the community. So those 5 teams, in just a few months, they created the protocol from the ground up. They designed the smart contracts, standard module library, which make reusable block like zero knowledge proof validation easy to implement and to reuse. They created the subgraph, which is indexing data on the graph. They created an SDK to facilitate builder integration. And they created the Explorer that you see on the right that lets you view your attestation. And since then, we have been joining by many more teams on the project. So on the slide, you see some of them. A big shout out, for instance, to the Happy team that built the Explorer that you see there. But all of them really did a fantastic work and now like are part of the Verax governance, which every project that integrates to Verax get a seat to. And of course, there is also Privado ID that you will earn more from in the next presentation. So that's how it started, how it's going now. Like we managed to bootstrap like together the on-chain identity. So it's like super exciting statistics. There is like 6 million attestations that have been published, 1.5 million users, 25 issuers. So that's has been really amazing to see like the rise of the protocol and all these people like collaborating to create on-chain identity. But we are not stopping there. Like just last week, the team shipped the version 9 of the protocol. And so it's continuously evolving over time. And we have like very exciting thing on the horizon. We are working to let builders query attestation across chain totally seamlessly. And so at some point, you will be able to read and write attestation from any chains, which really improve the developer experience and make the data much more available. There is a lot of user and developer experience improvement that are ongoing. We have some exciting integrations as well that are on the work. And on the more long time, there is also super interesting ideas such as trust score for attestation, on-chain indexing, and a lot of other topics that we want to explore. But the most important thing is that this is built on the open. So if you have some idea, we are listening. Feel free to reach out to us, join and contribute. Really come build with us. I've put some link on the screen. If you want to contribute to the project, the best place to start is Discord, which you can find on our main website. And if you just want to reuse what I've been built, this is completely open. Anybody can fork it, can do whatever they want. So don't hesitate to go to our docs. and get started with your own attestation.
That's super exciting. Thanks, Arthur. Like, just speaking a little bit about like use case that you see, like, do you wish to see more specific like attestation use case in a specific direction, or you saw already everything?
Yeah, personally, like one thing that there is two topics I'm super excited by. The first one is security, because I mean, it has been a struggle from the industry since day one, and there is like still too many like people that got scammed. So having like there is still no single place where you can find out if like a contract has been audited. And so building this open registry on chain that then wallets, block explorer and so on can reuse because it's a high signal information, right? Usually if a contract has been audited, it's not malicious, things like that. So I'm really eager to see that like coming into fruition in the short future. The second thing is like really letting people unlock the value of their reputation. Like you have all the traceability on chain, right, of all the things that you are doing, but most protocol at the moment, whether or not you are like a crypto OG interacting in the space since like 2016 or like just someone that joined, they will treat you the same way with the same condition. And I think that some users like really have a great reputation, and so they will get the benefit from it. And so it's something that we will see in the future with attestation.
Nice, nice. I mean, I think speaking in the future, I mean, not just in the future, but my biggest kind of like pain sometimes is having different attestation around different kind of like networks and chains. Like, I think like it's definitely like a need to kind of like explore also like the UX side around getting attestation on a much more like, let's say, higher level, independent to the chain that you are on. I still don't know how this will work like on a UI side, right? Because obviously all the attestation are on different chains today, right? You need to have some kind of like standardization for attributing attestation on different chains.
Yeah, I think that's part of the work of network abstraction that we want to build, where it will not matter anymore like where you get your attestation, but like everything is displayed in the same place. So yeah, but it's true that like as we are innovating, like there is always some fragmentation that come with it, and we at some point we need to converge again and like have the tools that let one manage its reputation and view his reputation in like a really easy way, but also comprehensive, like regardless of networks and things like that.
Nice, nice. No, that's very cool. And speaking about like integrations wise, like what are the some integration that you wish that they were there? I mean, I don't want to like names, right? But I just want to try to understand like integration in terms of like what specific like use case of integration. You're speaking about like gaming integration and these kind of things.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot, but for instance, one integration that was announced quite recently is the Etherscan one, where now you can like view your Verax attestation on the Explorer, and I think like deeper integration with wallets would be like really important to the space. So I was mentioning about like having attestation for audit. Like I think that every wallet should take those attestation and basically show like a green badge where you are interacting with like a verified or audited smart contract or safe smart contract, so that it improves the safety of all the users.
Nice. Yeah, makes sense. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm done like grilling with question, Arthur. But thanks so much also for coming. I think 1 year of Verax also like being fully like open source. I'm excited also like what's coming next around the seamless like a multi-chain attestation. That's super exciting, and definitely looking see what's coming next. Also, like post DevCon. Yeah, thank you so much, Arthur.
Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. So I will untoggle you, Arthur. I will get Ravi on board. So I hope everything is good, Ravi. We battle tested a little bit before. I'm screen sharing right now. How are you doing? Welcome to the for this month Linea Developer Community Call, and super excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited and learned quite a bit about the Linea community and the progress it has been there in the 1 year. Thank you, Arthur.
Nice. Cool. Do you want to share your screen, or you want me to drive through your slides?
I would do that myself. I think if that's okay with you, there is
Of
a
course.
presentation. There is a demo that I wanted to play, so hopefully it would work better if I present.
There you are. And quickly, like, introduce yourself. I think a lot of people know what Privado ID is doing. I use it myself. It's actually quite straightforward, but it's definitely exciting to hear more what's coming, what happens until now, and but feel free to introduce yourself before, Ravi.
Sure. Yeah. Hi, everyone. This is Ravi Agrawal. I'm Director of Growth at Privado ID. So Privado, we are using self-sovereign identity principle in order to bring an open ecosystem of issuer, verifier, and other ecosystem projects in order to, give control back to the user for their identity. So in short, we are trying to simplify identity and make it better across all surfaces, right? So would encourage everyone to just go on privado.id for any interesting for all the interesting updates. There are very interesting use cases and blog posts that we have also listed in case if that found interest to you. For today's presentation, I'm going to be talking a little bit in terms of what we have done with Linea and Verax, and especially on proof of humanity, which is one of the credential I believe in Web3 is going to be very important. I've heard in the last few minutes that there have been use cases across where we have seen bots and spam attacks, and that's where primarily proof of uniqueness is one of the important credentials that can bring in more fairness when it comes to reward distributions, or when it comes to bringing in a fair competition. So without further ado, let me just move around to a small presentation that I had. This is something that we call as a trust triangle, and it leverages self-sovereign identity principle. So there are three key stakeholders when it comes to such kind of a self-sovereign identity product. We got issuers, which are typically the institutions or the partners who provide certain types of credentials. In terms of the proof of uniqueness demo that we would be going through shortly, we got Synapse as one of the credential issuer. Otherwise, there can be a lot of on-chain data that can be sourced, and those can be translated into a verifiable credential that can be stored by the holder. So that's the stakeholder party two. Uh, the holder actually stored those credentials in their user wallet or in their identity wallet, and they can produce a ZK proof from their wallet and send it across to a verifier. And a verifier could be a DeFi application, a DAO, a gaming application, or could be a quest, right? So it gives the control back to the user in terms of when and where to share the data, and they can share the data in the form of a ZK proof. So without further ado, I would take your attention to the demo that would give you a lot more insight in terms of how are we doing it, what is the user flow look like, how is the overall experience. So let me know in case if this comes okay, and I would blow this up. So this is a very short video, around a minute's time, and this starts from verax.privado.id. So feel free to try it out. There are two levels of proof of uniqueness that we have embedded here. The first one is, somebody within a 14 days, they can get this level 1 credential, but within 14 days, they can, after 14 days, they can go and take the level 2 reputation of proof of uniqueness. This is primarily to increase the level of assurance, so that when a wallet hold this one and it has been reassured at the level 2, there is a very, very low probability that somebody may be gaming the system, right? So with proof of uniqueness, one of the key challenges that we are trying to address is where typically in Web3 we are all known that one user can hold hundreds or even thousands of wallet, right? And that's where if you wanted to distribute rewards, or if you wanted to bring in some fairness in any kind of a competition, can we bring in that uniqueness so that one user can have only one wallet that represent a particular user? And that's where the proof of uniqueness come handy. So this is the experience where a user would do typical Web3 journey. They sign in there using their any of the wallet. In this case, it's a MetaMask wallet. And in the first step, they claim a credential. Because this is a new user, they are going through a process of claiming the credential once. This is a biometric based credential where they are scanning the face, moving their head up and down, and that proves the uniqueness of the user based upon the algorithm provided by Synapse. And they try to create that unique hash based upon a unique face scan, and that actually ends up into giving a credential to the user. So if you see on the top right side, there is an identity wallet being provisioned basis the MetaMask wallet that the user has connected. Since the user is first time, they have zero credential, but they are in a process of claiming this credential. Once the process is completed, where the user has to also make a payment of $1 in this case, this is a credential that Synapse is giving at $1. There are certain credentials which can be free of cost. There can be credential which can even cost more than $1. That depends upon the issuer and the negotiation between the verifier. So in this case, once the user makes that payment, and at the moment it is being paid in ETH. So once the payment is being done, the user get this credential in the wallet. So you would see on the top right side that the credential count has moved from 0 to 1, and the credential has been claimed by the user. Now, within the same flow, the user can actually submit a ZK proof of this credential to a verifier. For the purpose of this demo, it is being verified by Verax, and it is getting like an on-chain attestation. But you can draw an analogy. This can actually be also a credential that can go to a DeFi application, or to a DAO, or to a gaming application. So when a user clicks on verify, this is where there is a proof being generated. Since this is an on-chain verification, user is basically signing the transaction, and you can see that the proof has been verified successfully. That's a very straightforward, simple flow, and we would be able to see that there is an attestation that is also written on-chain. If there is a need to do the level 2 reputation for the proof of uniqueness, the user can do it after 14 days. So that's a very straightforward, simple user flow. There are a few interesting things that I would like to bring to your notice. So first thing is, when we actually started up the flow, there is zero installation required. What I mean by that is the identity wallet has been provisioned in the background when the user has used any of their existing wallet, right? So if you remember the flow, user has signed in into MetaMask, and that has provisioned an identity wallet. We call that as a Privado web wallet. And using that, we are avoiding any user friction for any kind of installation. So that's the zero installation free user flow. The second important highlight is for the proof of uniqueness, we have used Synapse, but that's one of the issuer in our marketplace. We are already having multiple issuers, and we are making it like an embedded marketplace where a user can actually select in terms of which issuer they wanted to take a particular credential, and even that would be a choice given to a verifier. So we are making this as an open ecosystem where we would have multiple issuer as part of our embedded marketplace. The third important thing to bring to your notice is the payment rails. So we are not only focusing in terms of bringing the innovation with the technology, but we are also bringing in the commercial models. And with the payment rail, what is happening is, in this case, the user is making a $1 payment. But in the future phases, what we are also enabling is the verifier can make a payment for the type of credential that they want their user to hold. And this is where a verifier flow would also come in. And this would also take out any kind of payment need by the user if there is a use case like that. And the fourth one, which is where we are talking about an on-chain verification, so that even a smart contract deployed on-chain would be able to verify the ZK proof that the user is generating from their wallet. That can bring a lot of automation. It can bring in simplicity into the overall validation of the user credential, and can give them faster and superior experience. So to give you a perspective in terms of how are we building up this ecosystem and who are some of the partners, we are working with several Web3 ecosystem projects. But at the same time, we are also working with other larger organizations in order to bring Privado to different spaces in the Web2 and in government and public sector. Just focusing in the Web3, there are several issuers and verifiers that we are working, and we feel that there are interesting use cases that can be very innovative when it comes to Web3, especially around proof of humanity and proof of uniqueness. So that's where when even it is in the in the era of AI, there is a growing need in terms of ensuring that we are not sacrificing any type of trust within the ecosystem, and that's where we are building up this ecosystem in order to bring in the right level of digital identity for the user with the right to privacy. I would stop here and would take any question if anybody has it.
That's super cool, Ravi. I think like I went through a couple of times to the Privado ID kind of like user experience is quite straightforward. Also because you, as you said, you don't need to like do too many like kind of like logins, different chains. Like it's quite straightforward. What are the current like challenges in general that you see people going through like an attestation kind of like service and like on a proof basis like.
I think if we talk about the general challenges, one of the key challenges is trust on the issuer, right? So at
Mhm.
times, if there are credentials that have been issued or the attestation being issued, who are those issuer who are making those credential issuances, right? I think that is a big gap, and there are verifiers who are very selective in terms of who do they wanted to trust when it comes to the credential, right? Because these are kind of a credential which can let open up some kind of a special offerings or token gated access for the type of users that they may be giving certain privileges. So it becomes critical that there has to be a trust when it comes to the issuance of those credentials. So I believe this is where we have been seeing that in the Web3 space, the adoption is dependent whether, first of all, is that a trusted credential, and how is the user experience look like, whether that would add any friction when a verifier is trying to onboard a user, right? So no game, no DeFi application or an NFT marketplace would like to add any friction when they are onboarding new user, right? So how simple it can be and how trustworthy it can be.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And specific. So what we were speaking about with Arthur before about issuing different station also like different chain, and a lot of people have different like proofs of different chain. Do you see kind of this kind of like problem like around kind of not just users but also like developers?
No, yeah, 100%. I think this is something that everybody in the Web3 space is trying to address in some capacity. I would say whether it is in the form of chain abstraction, whether it is in the form of trying to bring in the I would say the abstraction layers around it and the aggregation layers around it. And I feel that it has to be more unified experience, so that let's say me as a user, if I've done my proof of uniqueness once on Linea, is there a
Mhm.
way I can carry the same proof of uniqueness when I'm trying to do, let's say, another quest on Polygon or maybe on
Mhm.
OP on Arbitrum, right? So for me, it is important that my experience should be simplified and
Mhm.
I may not have to do the redundant credential
Yes.
acquisition or claiming the credential again and again onto different chains. And how can that be simplified? But at the same time, it is also important for the other dabs maybe on chain 2 or chain 3 in order to see that they can trust those
Yeah.
credentials which has been issued on chain 1 and follow certain standards. So I remember the
Mhm.
question that you have asked in terms of there could be differences in terms of how the schema may be used or what kind of
Yeah.
data points might have been used in a particular schema for giving an attestation. So I think those are some nuances that needs to be addressed. But yeah, I think overall, not going with the early days of intranet, but we might have to start thinking in terms of a connected blockchains in the form of internet.
Yeah, my question was always around also like recovery, like attestation recovery. I don't know if this exists yet, but it's super interesting because a lot of people are coming and they're saying, okay, I don't know, either I've been hacked or like I lost my credential in general, like, and if you literally losing your kind of like attestation and proofs history, it's also like as bad, right? So if there is some kind of like ways to do guardians of proofs or something like specific use cases like that, it would be super interesting. But yeah. Speaking question, Ravi, like, and then we kind of like finish. But as all the developers right now in the call, how they can contribute to Privado ID or anything related to the attestation part.
Yeah, fantastic question. Thank you for bringing up Francesco. So first of all, I would like to highlight that majority part of our tech stack is open source. So all the developers, they are welcome in order to come and contribute. The underlying protocol is with the name of ident3. We got a Telegram group, we got a Discord channel. There is open source library on GitHub. So I believe I welcome every developer on the call to have a look at it, and feel free to provide your comment or anything that you may have around it. Participate in terms of the ongoing development effort that is there for the open source stack. At the same time, there are several I would say community initiatives that we keep doing. We would again welcome the developers and the builders from this call in order to participate, and let's bring identity to Web3 and simplify it together.
Nice. That I like this speech. I think is one of the identity is one of the big like use case and vertical that we should definitely work on with specific stuff like UX and UI. Like when UI hackathons. I think that's definitely like a big topic to discuss. And hopefully that we're getting a lot. I think there is an attestation specific pop-up sub city in Chiang Mai before DEF CON, all about like kind of identity and the IDs. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ravi. And hopefully like I see you to next time, or for anybody that want to contribute, make sure that you're checking out, you're submitting some PRs and issues to your repo, and saying hi to probably like DEF CON. You guys will probably around that too.
Thank you again for having me,
Awesome.
and look forward to meet at DEF CON.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Ravi. I'm going to talk to you now, and I will bring Armin. So right now we are like in definitely like an exciting part of the community call. We're bringing, as we mentioned, like one or two max Linea bounty like hackathon winners from the past, and this time we brought Armin from the team Shadowkey. Welcome, Armin. How are you doing?
Hey guys. So I'm glad to be here on this community call.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah. Can I start sharing my screen?
Of course.
I
will share your screen here. Before we
Okay.
start, Armin, did you sleep during the hackathon? How was the experience?
Oh, the hackathons are amazing, and it's always building something new. So basically, we kind of scrapped this thing together, but also
Excited.
nobody kind of took this approach to build such a platform. So we did our best to basically build some type of a project and working that, and we succeeded. And
Nice.
I think
you have your screen either froze or you're sharing the restream.
Yeah.
Is it the right one? Oh, there you are. There, I was
sorry.
I was asking myself like why. There you are. Let's do it.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. So during the hackathon, we built a Shadowkey, and basically it's an app for self addresses. So how we came to this problem is that basically if you reuse the same address again and again on EVM blockchains, it is visible, for all the parties, and it's public, and it comes with some problems. So basically your transactions can be linked, and for some transactions you don't want to do that. It also can unmask your identity if it's also not a wallet that you want to be linked with. It can damage your reputation or whatsoever. it creates some security risks since hackers can trace back. Like all of us probably got like some scam tokens before you dropped, right? So if we would be using stealth addresses, it's not that risky of getting phished or other way exploited on the blockchain. And also it impacts fungibility because some of the addresses are getting blacklisted on some projects or some tokens. And if they don't like what you did on the blockchain, they can just like create this blocker for your future actions. So the solution we came up with was actually proposed by Vitalik back in 2023, and he made a post about stealth addresses. So basically, it's still pending AP ARC proposal on the Ethereum, and we had to go through like a concept code and build it into the dApp, which I'm going to show you later. So basically, using this, we can ensure anonymity of address of transfers and addresses on chain. It doesn't have a drawbacks of a mixers. The exact name of the proposal is ERC 5564. And we built the small app for showcasing this type of functionality. So basically, under the hood, how it works, basically you generate an ephemeral key, then you generate your address. That address is put on a registry, and basically if someone wants to send you anonymously some tokens, we create this type of kind of loot box where we put like some value, like it could be ERC tokens, it can be NFTs, it can be some other stuff. And basically on a registry, you can see that this loot box, which is like, just a simple address, can be accessed by you. So we built a solution, which I'm going to demo. And yeah, so it works with three contracts, two contracts. It's registry and announcer, which is basically like announcing that transactions been made. And we used Next.js, React, Heroku to host the project, and built some smart contracts with Hardhat and Solidity. So you might think like, okay, what are the use cases? Maybe it's not about like only like keeping myself like anonymous. So let's say like some private investors want to shield their investments, so it's not disclosed to public until it's done. Or maybe they just want to do some OST deal. There's also good for basically payrolls, so that your earnings are not disclosed to whole people how much you're earning. For multisigs, so that all the signers who like let's say are voting on something, or let's say like distributing value, we want to be anonymous, so we just put it in that box, all those votes, and it can be like published on the blockchain. And for donations, so there's a big issue with donations that some people don't want to be noticed donating to certain organizations or certain causes, so it could like protect their identity as well. So let's go to the demo. So for this one, I'll have like two wallets. So this is like an in-browser wallet, basically what we did. And here you can see this is my address, and this is my meta address. I received some loot boxes right here. Let's try to send it to a different address. So this one is the recipient. I'll send him, let's say like 0.02 ETH. I'll do the transfer. Yeah, so transaction went through. It's now, currently it's everything on Linea Cipolla testnet. we really want to launch this project live. We still have to check some of the security concerns we have, but currently I'm doing it on testnet. So as you can see, the loot box showed up, and this is the one that I got. So basically, through this address, I can see on the registry that this loot box was assigned to me. It shows its balance. And if I want to get the contents of it, I can get like a private key right here and connect to that wallet. But if you look at like a transaction explorer, it's an internal transaction, and it's made by this address. So let's go to the transaction. As we can see, this transaction was made from address stealth. Yeah, so it was made to the registry, and now I can basically get the loot box out. So that's about it. This link is live. If you want to test out the concept, you just need some test tokens on Linea Sepulveda, and hopefully we can just get some support from more experienced people in cryptography. So feel free to maybe open the issue on the GitHub and give us feedback, because we still kind of don't know if we did everything correctly. And yeah, hopefully we could launch this project on Linea mainnet and basically provide some type of a service for people who want to stay more secure or more anonymous. And yeah,
Nice.
maybe you have some questions.
Nice. Yeah, no, it's super interesting, Arthur. Like, what do you plan to build this further? Like, what specific feature you plan to kind of like enhance the app with?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we did some research even during the hackathon and after the hackathon. So regarding the stealth addresses, there are like only two platforms. Both of those exist on Ethereum. There's none on Linea. And basically provide this easy to use interface for users to addresses. Stealth addresses, you can consider them wallet abstraction or
I think you're breaking a little bit.
Sorry. Okay. It shows me like make my.
But that's fine. That's fine. Where are we?
Yeah.
No, but I think we get what's
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, you're breaking a little
my
bit.
connection is real bad.
But Armin, I think I think we kind of like got like what the demo is about, how you build it, what you want to like do kind of like next. I think important, like we will share also like your GitHub repo and kind of the demo link that you shared to us. I think that's definitely like super cool. And it's exciting. And yeah, let us know also like how was the experience, but in general, like how you want to build that next. I think there is a lot of different like use case that you can go next, and it's just super excited to have it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much also for coming. And yeah, anything else if your network allowed?
Oh yeah. So feel free to look for our code. Like if you can just open the issue, if it sounds dummy or not, maybe you would like better UI. And also you can contact me through Telegram on NeoNem. And yeah, we don't know like exact like niche which we would target with such a tool, but we would like to like just like let it free, and then like people would find I think the best ways to integrate it, or we could like get some feedback and then like maybe launch some some type of a specific niche target applications.
Nice.
We just
Yes.
need now to improve on basically making it not only to transfer native tokens, but also as ERC tokens and ERC20 tokens and ERC721. I think that's
Nice.
our goal for now. So we might reach it in like a month or like 5 weeks. Depends how much
Nice.
motivation we have on this one side project.
Very cool. So you're ready to, you will be ready for DEF CON, let's say that. And I think also
Okay.
the team posted both your Telegram and the repo on Shadowkey, and yeah, super exciting. Hopefully people will check it out. Thank you so much, Armin. Let's keep going, and good luck, and come say hi if you're also around on ETH Global Singapore. Let's do a quick. I think we have like four minutes left, but I will untag you, Armin. See you guys later. So let's quickly jump through to a quick recap, right? So what are we doing next? So obviously, as we mentioned before, DEF CON and ETH Global Bangkok are the next kind of big things are happening. We will be also present in some of the pop-up cities in certain capacities, so you should definitely check it out. The Linea developer cook-off is still happening. We just conclude the October one, and in the next few days we're basically opening up the September one. We're opening up the October one. That will be exciting because we are also joining with an ecosystem partner. And I will not announce who, but it will be super exciting. We're splitting the bounty on a specific use case. So if you guys also planning to hack virtually, the Linea Dev Cook-Off is definitely a way to go. And then obviously we are planning next the October community call. That would be also super exciting to have it here. What else? This is the QR code. We are having a very specific Telegram channel just for builders. It's called actually Linea Builders Club. So this include could be builders, developers, specific users that want to kind of build something and deploy on Linea, or just kind of people that want to be part of the ecosystem. So also ecosystem partners are definitely welcome. And you are finding here the link to join. And the goal is really to stay up to whatever everything is happening in the ecosystem, from bounty to submission, activation, and virtual events, and obviously keeping you updated with specific features, updates, or just ecosystem partner kind of highlights, right? I think that's super excited to have it here. So I think that's a little bit everything. I think this is the first time in history that we're almost finishing on time. I just want to thank everybody in the team that make this call happening. Thanks to everybody that organized. Thanks also to the people that came to present. That's a major and huge efforts from all the team. And we're super excited to bring you those steady call with not just feature updates, but also ecosystem partner highlights, but also hackathon winners and just great builders around the ecosystem to join and build. So thank you so much, everyone. Looking forward to meet you in either DEF CON, some of the next hackathon, to the Linea Dev Cook-Off, but always make sure to DM us in either the Linea Builders Club, DM us directly on specific either XDMs or something. We're also planning some of Twitter Spaces happening. Yeah, so a lot of things are exciting. We're keeping up the momentum, and just come and say hi, and let us know if you have any feedbacks or any verticals that you wish to see more in those community calls. And hopefully you will have a good week. And thanks everyone, and thanks everybody that make this call happening.